Notice! Sorry.
Hey guys, Dalek44 here. I need no introduction, but I got one anyway. And I got a new Apple Mac. So any new videos you'll see from now on will be in high definition. Thanks to the good old Apple Mac. But anyway, as you all know, we have a crazy pandemic going on, so just to pass the time I've been binge watching various shows and movies I love. Very recently I rewatched an old classic, the Lego Batman movie. Being the second entry to the LEGO movie franchise, the LEGO Batman movie had a lot to live up to, and it managed to meet the high standards that most people wanted to see from this movie. With the same type of humour, the same animation team, as well as Will Arnett's LEGO Batman taking up the spotlight. And there's rumours of a possible sequel that's coming out, but we're not sure about it yet since Universal now own the franchise, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So it's needless to say this movie has become one of the most popular movies in the LEGO movie series, argued by many to be the best movie to come out of the franchise, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I'd agree with them. It had a great sense of humour like the first movie, and it did a great job at capturing Will Arnett's Batman. But what makes this movie so great? What makes it so memorable, hilarious, and all around a great movie in the LEGO movie franchise? Well, I'm going to look at the top 10 of them here tonight. So sit back and enjoy my top 10 reasons why the LEGO Batman movie is so awesome. Number 10. The animation. Yeah, I know I put the animation in the same place since my first LEGO movie Great Moments list, but it's just so great that I had to put it at number 10. From the first scene in this movie, you can already tell that the animation has been updated compared to the first LEGO movie, while still keeping to the traditional animation style of the LEGO movie. It takes the same style from the first LEGO movie but ups it a notch, with improved textures, keeping up that stop motion feeling that you get from it, and adding a couple of non-LEGO effects to it like water and smoke. Now some might say that this is cheating since everything in the first LEGO movie besides the relics and the real world were all made out of LEGO, but this just adds to the imagination that this probably takes place in a different type of world within Finn's basement, somewhere that's not one of the sets that was already made by Finn's father. And there's so many little touches in the animation that really makes it worthwhile. Like every time Batman's mood changes, his cowl seems to change with whatever facial expression he's making. Something that was never done in the original LEGO movie. And I'm still wondering why they never made anything like this for LEGO Batman movie sets. I mean seriously, I want to see LEGO Batman minifigures with those kind of cowls. The animation for the first LEGO movie didn't disappoint me, and it didn't disappoint for the LEGO Batman movie, with some updated textures, some great stop motion feelings, and just all around great animation that makes you come back for it again and again.
Whoa! You're darn right, whoa.
Number 9. The Rogues Gallery. This movie has the most Batman villains I've ever seen in a movie. And that's funny coming from a guy who's watched Batman the Animated Series episodes like Almost Got Him in the Trial where they have multiple villains in the same room. But this one just seems to showcase all of the major villains in Batman's history. Like the Joker as the main villain, Harley Quinn, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, the Penguin, Bane, Catwoman, Mr. Freeze, and many others. They even managed to bring in a lot of the obscure Batman villains that mainly showed up in the Adam West TV series and the animated series. The Rogues Gallery in the LEGO Batman movie is so huge that you may literally have to pause the movie just to see which other villains you may find in it besides the ones that were named. And the majority of them you had to be a die-hard DC Comics reader to even get first time round. And Batman rogues weren't the only rogues that were part of the Rogues Gallery in this movie. We also had rogues from other franchises that came from the Phantom Zone in the movie. When we got to visit the Phantom Zone, they showed many other villains that didn't even come from Batman or DC, like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, Voldemort from Harry Potter, the Eye of Sauron from The Lord of the Rings, and the Daleks from Doctor Who, as well as many others. And I was immediately surprised and super hyped when they revealed that the Daleks were going to be part of this movie. even though they never refer to them by their real name.
British robots. Ask your nerd friends.
Deals with the BBC, I guess. Nonetheless, it was awesome to see so many Batman villains as well as non-Batman villains in this movie. It just adds to the great imagination and creativity that this movie series had to offer, and it shows that the team did a lot of research in bringing these characters to the big screen. Good job on your mates.
Okay, are you making some of those up?
Nope, they're all real. Probably worth the Google.
Number 9. The Batman references. Being a parody of Batman, it's no surprise that they would have many references to the Caped Crusader, from the comic books to the TV shows and previous movies.
I've seen you go through similar phases in 2016 and 2012 and 2008 and 2005, 1997, 1995, 1992 and 1989, and that weird one in 1966.
And these references are scattered all over the place, like the various incarnations of Batman that have showed up over the years, from the Adam West TV series to the animated shows and the previous movies. They even throw in a bit of a jab at the Suicide Squad movie. References to the Caped Crusader are all over the place in this movie, and a majority of them you have to be a die-hard DC fan to even get first time round. And in my opinion, one of the best references to the Caped Crusader is casting Billy D. Williams as Two-Face, who previously played Harvey Dent in Tim Burton's original Batman movie. There's even been rumoured that if Tim Burton wasn't replaced by Joel Schumacher, then Billy D. Williams may have returned to Batman Returns as Two-Face instead of casting Tommy Lee Jones. Little touches like that just makes this a really great movie to watch. And even the opening scene with the plane heist is a great reference to The Dark Knight Rises, as well as a great action scene showcasing the Joker as well as all the other DC villains. Unlike with the Rogues Gallery, you'd probably have to watch this movie several times to get all of the references, and you'd even have to be a die-hard Batman fan to get them first time round. But as well as having references to the comics, it just has references to the movies and the TV series, so it's a movie for every Batman fan out there, young and old.
Batman, what are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts?
You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Number 7. The action. It comes as no surprise that being a Batman movie, we'd see a lot of action scenes, with Batman kicking bad guys' asses. But what makes the action scenes so great for me is that we don't see Batman fighting off just one villain. In each action scene for this movie, it's very rare that you see Batman fighting off one villain. He always has to fight off a whole gang of villains. And that just adds to the awesomeness of the action scenes.
I don't currently have a bad guy. I am fighting a few different people. I like to fight around.
Every battle he has, he's always fighting a gang of villains. Like the whole DC Rogues Gallery and every villain that comes from the Phantom Zone. There's never a moment where he has to fight off just one villain. Every villain always comes at him in one go. Every great Batman movie has to have great action scenes, and this movie has plenty of them.
Batman, what are you doing?
Punching Bane.
That was unnecessary.
Number 6. The soundtrack. Every Batman movie has to have a kick-ass soundtrack to it, and this movie certainly has that, with Lorne Balfe composing the music as well as some various songs throughout the movie, and the movie just seems to have a Danny Elfman / Hans Zimmer feeling to it every now and then. The soundtrack has a good selection of songs in it that already existed, as well as new tracks made for the movie, like the Friends or Family song and Batman's Who's the Batman song, and especially the way they do the music throughout the movie. A lot of the music scores just sound like they've taken some inspiration from the previous Batman films, mainly the Burton and Nolan films, and they write in 2 brand new songs for it, like Who's the Batman, taking reference to the Adam West Batman theme, and Friends or Family at the very end of the film, being a nice light-hearted song. As I said, every great Batman movie has to have a great soundtrack, and this movie definitely has a great soundtrack.
This music is filling me with rage. Let's use it.
Number 5. Robin. This version of Robin, played by Michael Cera, is the cutest version of Robin I've ever seen, being this wacky, lovable and gullible orphan that just wants to have a family, and is a huge fan of Bruce Wayne as well as Batman.
Does Batman live in Bruce's basement?
No, Bruce Wayne lives in Batman's attic.
This version of Robin is quite geeky, but also adorable in its own way. Every time you see him on screen, you just want to give him a hug or something. He's that delightful. And what I love about this version of Dick Grayson is how enthusiastic he is and how willing he is to be in Batman's shoes and follow on in his adventures, no matter how dangerous or life-threatening it may be.
Hello, secret camera.
And he's the kind of orphan who's just happy to have parents and be parented. Like when Batman scolds him, he doesn't react like a spoiled kid would, like, "Oh, you're the worst dad ever." He reacts so gleefully like he's never had this kind of scolding before. So it's just a joy to him that he's being parented. If only more kids were like him. So this version of the Boy Wonder is a joy to watch, and we won't be forgetting him anytime soon.
The only trouble is, his pants are just a little tight. I don't know if I can throw a kick or jump in them. I got an idea. Rip! It's better. Now I'm free, now I'm moving. Come on, Batman, let's get grooving!
I can only look you in the eyes right now.
Number 4. Connections to the Lego Movie. Being the second entry to the Lego Movie franchise, it seems like a no-brainer that we'd have connections from the first Lego movie pop up in this one, like them mentioning the eternal abyss of nothingness from the first movie, even showing a clip of Emmett falling into the abyss, and the fact that Batman is a master builder and he teaches Robin how to master build. Adding those little connections to the first Lego movie is a great way to remind us that this Batman takes place within Finn's basement. And just the little nods to it, like, say, the eternal abyss of nothingness and the fact that Batman's a master builder, just adds to this universe. And if you listen very carefully in the scene where Harley Quinn beats up 2 officers in the Arkham Asylum's lift, then you'll hear Everything Is Awesome playing in the background. While every entry in a movie franchise has to have references to their previous films, this one doesn't disappoint with its connections to the first film. Number 3. Batman. Like with the animation, I know I put Batman on the list in my first Lego Movie top 10 list, but he's just such a delight to watch in this movie that I had to put him on this list again. Now, I've talked many times about how awesome Batman is in the Lego Movie franchise from my previous reviews, but the movie just adds to his awesomeness and how hilarious he is at the same time. And with good reason. Will Arnett's version of the Caped Crusader is one of the most funny versions I've ever seen in media. He fights crime, loves beating up bad guys, and is very arrogant and self-centered at times. But this movie explores his personality more and shows us why he is self-loving and so full of himself all the time. It turns out that his massive ego is just to hide the fact that he's afraid of losing people that he loves again.
I don't talk about feelings. I don't have any. I've never seen one. I'm a night-stalking, crime-fighting vigilante and a heavy metal rapping machine. I don't feel anything emotionally except for rage. 24/7, 365, at 1,000,000%. And if you think that there's something behind that, then you're crazy.
It's just to hide the pain and sorrow that he feels in his heart. But he's afraid of being a part of a family and afraid to show his emotions, which makes us root for him in the movie and understand why he's being such a jerk to everyone around him. And even though he is being a jerk most of the time, he's just so hilarious and full of himself that you can't help but love him at the same time. Will Arnett's Batman is a great addition to the Lego Movie franchise, and a Caped Crusader that we won't be forgetting anytime soon.
I really don't need anyone at any time, ever, because I'm totally awesome, and Batman works alone.
Number 2. The Joker. Being Batman's greatest enemy, it was a no-brainer that the Clown Prince of Crime was going to be the main villain in the Lego Batman movie. And Zach Galifianakis' performance is just so superb and memorable, being the most child-friendly version of the clown. And if most people don't know this guy, he was in the Hanover movies, as well as Humpty Dumpty in the Puss in Boots movie by DreamWorks.
I'm inside your head. No, you're not. I knew you'd say that. No, you didn't. And I knew you'd say that. See? We aren't so different, I and you.
It's you and I! Yeah!
Aside from Cesar Romero's Joker from the Adam West TV series, this has to be the most child-friendly Joker I've ever seen in a while. Since most versions you see him, he's still a psychotic killer who's not really allowed to kill, but just does horrific things anyway. But this one seems to be the most child-friendly in my opinion. And the guy's charm just shines through this version of the Joker. Being Batman's arch-enemy, who is also known as the Clown Prince of Crime, and just wanting Batman to admit that he's his greatest enemy, and be appreciated by him as a villain. But no matter what Joker does, he just doesn't seem to get the full appreciation of their relationship from Batman. And he'll go to any great and dangerous lengths just to show that he's Batman's greatest enemy. And the way they play out his obsession in the movie makes him seem like an obsessive fan or over-obsessive boyfriend or something like that. It's just hilarious.
I am not going to be part of a one-sided relationship any longer.
You and I are done. I'm moving on. And on my way out, I'm gonna blow up Gotham City.
And playing the Clown Prince of Crime, Zack had big shoes to fill since many big actors played the character before him, like Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger, and Jared Leto. And then later on we get a great performance from Joaquin Phoenix in Joker. But I think Zack did a great job at bringing the Joker to life in the LEGO version of the Caped Crusaders adventures. So all those reasons makes this version of the Clown Prince of Crime so memorable in my opinion.
It's gotta be one or the other, Batman. Save the city or catch your greatest enemy. You can't do both.
And the number one awesome moment from the LEGO Batman movie is... it's a great celebration of the Caped Crusader. As I mentioned before, this movie does a great job at bringing in so many references to the Caped Crusader from the movies, the TV shows and the comics. This movie just proves to be a great parody of Batman as well as a great celebration to his adventures, making references to all the incarnations that have existed in the past, pointing out the good parts of the franchise and the bad parts of the franchise. And as I mentioned, they do a great jab at the Suicide Squad film. Even though I do quite enjoy that movie, I find that their joke to it is really funny. And even though it's a Batman film, it has to be child friendly because it's a family film. And it sees it being a great family film as well as a great celebration of the Batman. It's just a movie that you could watch several times over and over and just get all the references to the Batman franchise. And it's one of the most popular films in the LEGO movie franchise as well, being a lot of people's number one on their lists. And it's my most favourite as well, having rewatched it several times. The movie plays out as a great Batman movie, a great parody of Batman, and a great celebration of the Caped Crusader, with all the references that they do to many of the incarnations of him, like from the comics, the TV shows and the movies. It just goes all out to remind us of Batman's great legacy. So with all the great references to the Caped Crusader, the great characters, the great music, and all the other things I've listed in this list, all these things is why the LEGO Batman movie is such an awesome movie as well as an awesome addition to the LEGO movie franchise. And as we know, ages ago, Warner Brothers confirmed that they'd be working on a sequel to this movie. But the future of it's uncertain since Universal now own the rights to the LEGO movie franchise. So we're just going to have to wait and see if the LEGO Batman movie 2 does come out. And if it does, I'm sure it'll be as great a celebration to the Caped Crusader as this movie is. And this and more is why the LEGO Batman movie is such an awesome movie, as well as an awesome addition to the LEGO movie franchise. And those are the 10 reasons why I think the LEGO Batman movie is so awesome. Do you have any reasons of your own for why the LEGO Batman movie is awesome? Well, put them down in the comments section below and get your words out there. I'm Dalek44, and I'll see you next time, folks.
We aren't so different, I am.
It's you and I!